8.
I was 12 years old.
There was like this special documentary.
My father gave me a book called Matrimonial Education in Islam.
And it showed like the fetus growing, and it really blew my mind.
He said, read this, and if you have any questions, ask your mother.
I remember asking my mom, 엄마, 나 여자친구 하나 있으면 괜찮겠어? And the first thing she did was just slap me right away.
Serious?
Yeah. Didn't I ever tell you that?
No.
And then the conversation ended right there.
My mom sat me down and she had like a book. And I was like, I'm never doing this.
By reading this book, I learned about sex, my period, personal hygiene.
What did you learn about body hygiene?
Shaving intimate parts.
That's in there?
Mm-hmm. This book is kind of like very rulesy, and it's surprising. Now rereading it as an adult, it's informed quite a bit of my worldview.
One thing I remember that my mom said that really stuck with me, you tend to need to learn how to have sex first, and it's better not to wait for the one. It's really stuck in my mind because it was really good advice, in my opinion.
Shortly after my mom explained sex to me, and I think I told her like I'm never doing that, and she was like, well, people enjoy it, like it's a pleasurable experience. Looking back, I think it was really like a strong statement for me to hear that like women experience pleasure while having sex.
My oldest sibling is considering potentially removing his child from the curriculum, the new sex ed curriculum. And so when I chat with him regularly about it, I'm like, okay, so you remove your child and then what? What are you going to replace it with? Because those conversations need to happen. He goes, nothing. I just don't want to have those conversations. And I was like, okay, well, you can't excuse your child from life.
When I see parents who disagree and say like, well, I want to be the one to explain to my kids about sex or whatever, I feel like your kids are my kids' potential future sex partners, and I want them to have kind of the same knowledge and education.
I think our approach is basically analogous to our parenting approaches in general with a lot of things. For instance, we believe it's important to eat healthy, right? So it's not like we're waiting for our kids to be 16 and have a talk with them about it.
The first, biggest, most important thing I want them to know is about consent.
Consent.
He has control over his own body, and he doesn't get to touch anybody else's body without their explicit permission, and nobody else gets to touch him without his explicit permission.
It's just part of life, and
It's normal.
just chillax.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that we're not closed off about the subject either, that they can come and ask us stuff, except when we're not in the mood.
Yeah.
So I'll say, this is what Islam talks about, and then I'd probably hand over another book, which is a bit more youth-friendly, youth-focused. My job as a parent is to help alleviate the dissonance.
What do you think you're going to say to your kids when you hand this book over?
Go talk to your dad about it.